St. Louis City Health Department provides inspections for food facilities throughout the city. And joining me now is Food Establishment Inspector Amir Tibbs. Welcome, Amir.
Hi.
Hi. So you've got an interesting job. It's a job that nobody sees happening.
Yeah.
We see the letter on the door of the restaurants, and you're responsible for that. Is that right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So every restaurant, every food facility in St. Louis is inspected by our city's health department. Is that correct?
Yes, and the important thing to recognize is that there are facilities that aren't restaurants. We also inspect daycares, schools, senior citizen centers, even temporary inspections. Whenever there's an event throughout the city, there are inspections that all of the establishments are inspected. So it's not just restaurants that we inspect.
Yeah, that is interesting. Nobody would know that necessarily. So if there's a festival, for instance, you would come ahead of time and make sure that everything is set up correctly and safely. Is that right?
Right. There's a whole permitting process that goes along with it. The thing to remember is that whether you sell food, if you're serving food, if you're preparing food, or even if you're giving food away like sampling, you're required to have what's called a temporary permit from the health department in order to make sure that your booth or your facility is up to code. And when we go out to inspect these temporary events, we're looking for we have like a three-pronged approach where we're looking for your food. Where is it coming from? There's a prohibition of serving food that's prepared at home. So you want to make sure that you're getting your food from a approved source and that you're preparing it in a permitted kitchen. You can't just cook food at home and then sell it to the public. Also, you want to make sure you have the right equipment. There's certain equipment that's required. You want to make sure that you have sanitizer. You should also make sure that you have a thermometer so that you can make sure that you're keeping your cold food cold and your hot food hot. There are requirements for hot food. It must be at least 135 degrees, and cold food should always be kept below 41 degrees. And those requirements aren't set by our health department. Those are from the U.S. FDA Food Code.
Okay, got it. So you follow the code, the national code then?
Yes.
So
yes.
how often are inspections taking place, say, at our restaurants in town?
Well, for a restaurant per se, it depends on how it's assessed. There are 3 levels. There's high, medium, and low. If you rate low, you're only inspected once a year. If you are medium, then you're inspected twice a year. And if you're high, you're inspected 3 times a year. And the assessment takes into account things like your level of service. How many people are you serving per day? It also takes into account risk factors like, are you serving food from a salad bar or a buffet? Or are you cooking to order? When you think about it, if you're cooking just one hamburger at a time, there's less risk involved than if you're cooking a lot of food and you have to keep it hot or cold.
Interesting. So with the high, low, and medium, was that the...
Yeah, those are the 3.
Okay, so low, so that would be a restaurant that is cooking to order then?
Usually, let's think about a grocery store. A grocery store, a really big grocery store, might have 4 permits. Say it's a grocery store that has a salad bar, there might be a bakery, a deli, and the grocery store itself. A grocery store itself is selling canned goods, things that are not potentially hazardous per se. So that would be a low inspection, just the grocery store.
Got it.
But think about the salad bar. The salad bar has a lot of risk associated with it. You've got some food that's hot. You might have cold foods, salads, things that need to be kept below 41. And then you also have the risk of it's so accessible. It's out in the open. Anybody can reach in there, clean hands, dirty hands. So there's a lot more risk with buffet type service. So those things are usually high.
Got it.
So it's always based on the risk assessment. And we do an annual risk assessment for all of our facilities.
Okay. All right. And then this is the question I've always wondered. So do you just pop in? Are they surprise inspections or are they routine?
Well, we call them routine inspections, but again, based on your assessment, we don't tell you when we're coming.
Got
you kind of know, it's been about a year or so I'm due for inspection.
Yeah.
And there are 8 inspectors in our city, and each of us has a certain ward that we are responsible for, well, certain wards that we're responsible for. So we try to keep up with all of those inspections on a routine basis, but it's never announced.
So they see Amir coming. There she is. She's in the parking lot. Quick, quick, quick. No, hopefully it's not like that.
Hopefully
they're
like
always ready and
yeah, our goal is to keep all of our facilities at an A. So
Yeah.
even if we do see critical violations, we always come back within 48 hours to make sure that those have been addressed and that they're corrected.
Yeah.
Because overall, we want to maintain all facilities at an A rating.
Yeah, of course. And we want that as well. So
Yeah.
thank you for helping with that. How interesting and how great that we have you and our other public health officials helping to keep us safe and feel confident in our restaurants and our food facilities and food trucks and all that stuff.
And I just want to make sure that we're making sure that if we are doing temporary events, that we are getting permitted properly, because that's something that's sometimes overlooked. Anytime you have a food truck or someone who might pop up on the corner selling food, you want to ask where your permit is, just to make sure that you're properly permitted and that the city is aware of what's going on, and that we actually send out an inspector to make sure that food is kept properly and that it's sanitation.
For our entrepreneurs who are listening, make sure you're getting those licenses and appropriately from our city. Is that right?
And that information is available on our website.
All right, very good. Amir, thank you for coming, and thank you to you for watching STL Live. STL TV wants to be your source for events happening in and around the St. Louis area. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And also visit our website, stltv.net, and download the new STL TV app on your mobile device. I'm Sarah Bernard. You have a great day, and thank you to Amir for the great time that you spent with us today. We'll see you next time.